Alright guys, before we sorry, before we review for the test, I want to just get you started on trying a problem like this. So take a few seconds, write down this problem, pause the video, and try to get the solution to this problem. Okay, now that you've hit play, we're going to go over it, right? Unless you just didn't hit pause and you just went on with the my explanation. So, it says a man has $1.35 in dimes and nickels. Fine. Then it says in total he has 20 coins. Right there, that should set off the thought in your head that here you have one relationship between the dimes and the nickels, and here you have a second. And it wants to know how many of each coin. That also tells you that there are two unknowns, dimes and nickels. And when that happens, we can do the following. Okay? Remember, you always create a let statement to define your variables. For this problem, we're going to use D to represent the number of dimes. And let's space that differently. And we're going to use N to represent the number of nickels. Now we'll go back later and put in our answers. So that's how you would start this. Now, after that, when you have a situation where you have two unknowns and two different relationships, you can create a system of equations. Again, look at the first sentence they give you and try to create a relationship out of that based on what D and N stand for. So if the man has 135 in dimes and nickels, that means if you multiply the amount that a dime is worth times how many you have, plus the amount of nickels you have times how much they're worth, you will get 135. But we have to be careful to use the same unit. So we know dimes are worth 10 cents, and we have D, amount. We're going to add to that 5 cents per nickel, and we have N amount, and that equals 135 total cents, not 1.35. If we wanted to put the decimal here, we would have to put the decimals in front of the coin value. But we're going to keep it in cents. Now, the next relationship is in total he has 20 coins. So that means the total number of dimes plus the total number of nickels equals 20. So it's D plus N equals 20. Okay. Now at this point, you have a choice. Remember, you can choose to solve by elimination or by substitution. I might find this easier to use substitution or elimination. It actually doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use elimination. Now, the way that works is I have to have the opposite coefficients. I think it might be easier here to eliminate the n's, but here I have a 1 in front of the n, here I have a 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this bottom equation, the whole thing, by -5. And when I do that, here's what I am left with. Okay, I'm going to bring down the top equation, 10D plus 5N equals 135. And now I have -5D minus 5N equals -100. Now, I combine the two equations together, and when I add them together, I get 10D plus -5D, so that's going to be 5D. The n's add to 0, and 135 plus -100 is 35. And when I divide both sides by 5, I get D equals 7. So I've solved for D, and the answer is 7. But now I need N. So I'm going to take D plus N equals 20. I'm going to take the second equation, D plus N equals 20. I'm going to substitute in 7 for D. And when I subtract 7 from both sides, I get N equals 13. So I know the amount of nickels is 13. And then I check. If you multiply 7 times 10 and add that to 13 times 5, you get 135. And if I add 13 and 7 together, I get 20. So I definitely have the right answer. And that's how you solve a system of equations when you have a word problem present.